on to Seren Davis. Seren Davis is a writer, poet, and translator currently in their fourth year at Agnes Scott College, where they are majoring in creative writing. Seren is an alum of the 2017-2018 Alpha SFFH workshop for young writers. They are the winner of the 2022 Janeth Newman Preston Prize in Poetry, as well as the recipient of the Elizabeth Quiche Trailblazer Scholarship and the French Scholars Awards. So a lot of distinguished achievements already. We are honored and privileged to have you here. Seren, please share your poems with us. Thank you.
Hi, today I'll be reading a French poem by Anne Hébert, and then I'll be reading my translation of the poem. It's called Pluie. Pluie sur la ville qui s'ébroue, ses chevaux de pierre aux fontaines, sabots, crinières, beaux griffons, fument les roues mouillées, roulent les quais rouillés. Toi, ta force et ton sommeil, ton rêve sous ta paupière fermée, amande noire au cœur de la nuit. Ton bras se m'érène comme une ceinture. Pluie sur la vitre, faux fil, aiguille liquide, de grands métiers tremblent, lisse ton sort et le mien. Qui se rend aveugle? Rivière, fleuve, la nuit, navette et fuseau se dévide, forêt de feuilles fraîches secouées. Toi, ton rire, ton œil d'oiseau, ton visage qui luit, l'amour s'étend sur moi. Puis, au loin, l'éclat jaune de platane, fougère au tronc noir, place peuplée de colères brèves, fourmilière brute où la sagesse noue et dénoue un mince fil secret. Toi et moi, île dans la ville, sous la pluie, mise au monde, mêlés ensemble comme la terre et l'eau avant le partage, pluie sur la vitre. Si j'abandonne ton corps couché et pars en songe aussi, soulève d'arches de pluie, quitte la chaleur du lit, goûte de sel des eaux marines à l'horizon roulé, toute la terre accessible paraît un tapis. Toi, ta parole et ton silence, ta vie et ta beauté, ton amour me ramènent inlassablement, tel un rosier sauvage qu'on allume dans la nuit sous la pluie. Rain on the city whose stone horses snort atop fountains, hooves, manes, elegant griffins fog the soggy streets, roll the rusty keys. You, your spirit and your sleep, your dream beneath your shuttered eyelid, black almond at the heart of the night, your arm girdles my loins. Rain on the window pane, delicate threads, liquid needles, great looms shiver, seaming your fate and mine. Weavers blind, rivers, streams, the night shuttle and spindles unwinding, forests of fresh shaken leaves. You, your laughter, your unwavering gaze, your shining face, love washes over me. Rain, in the distance the yellow glow of sycamores, ferns with black trunks, spaces lively with fleeting fits of ire, crude anthills where wisdom knots and unknots a secret filament. You and me, island in the city, in the rain, brought into the world, wedded together like earth and water before the split. Rain on the window pane. If I leave your sleeping form and wander into dreaming too, raise up archways of raindrops, leave the warmth of the bed, taste the salt of sea waters on the furled horizon, all the world in reach like a carpet. You, your speech and your silence, your life and your beauty, your love tirelessly draws me back like a wild rose bush that ignites in the night, in the rain. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Seren, and what a lovely poem and how beautifully rendered, really. I appreciate your sharing those poems, the poem and the translation. Uh, just lovely. And I'm wondering that having been wrong-footed twice, looking for the poet in the wrong place, if it happened a third time, what a pleasure it would be if our next poet were actually, when I was looking for him in Zoom, was actually present here in the audience. And this is going to be Sergio Inestrosa, a dear friend. And he is there. Are you there,
Yes, I am here, Waqas.
Yes. So, born in San Salvador, he's a professor of Spanish and Latin American affairs at Endicott College, Beverly, Massachusetts. Sergio is a member of the editorial board of Tiberiades, Tiberiades, Red Ibero-Americana, the Poetas, the Críticos Literarios Cristianos. Pardon my wonderful Spanish here, with my pronunciation is awful. And of the electronic magazine Cine de Literatura, based in Santiago de Chile. His last book of poetry, Umbrel de Oriente, was published by Almava in November 2019. Sergio has been tolerant of my lack of knowing the Spanish language during my 2-week trip to Cuba, and I hope he will forgive the massacres of pronunciation that he has just heard from me. But he's most cordially welcome, and again, it's a true honor to have you here to share
Thank
your
you. Thank you
Sir.
so much for the invitation. I will read 3 poems in Espanol, and I guess Waqas will do the favor of the translation. The first poem is...
Sergio, let me
Yes.
correct you on that.
Yes.
You're equally fluent in both languages. You can read your translations, please.
Okay, then I will read only 2. 2 poems in Spanish and the translation in English.
You can read all your poems that you've
Okay.
submitted.
Thank
It's fine.
you.
We have the time. Don't
Thank
worry.
you so much. Now I am in trouble because my English is terrible. But anyway, here we go. En español. Poeta, siembra la palabra, entiérrale y dale tiempo para que florezca. Con suerte, un día dará fruto. La palabra es semilla, simiente, grano, cargado, esperemos, de futuro. La palabra es un espejo en el que nos miramos despojados de ropajes. La palabra es un cuerpo en movimiento, energía que desborda el cauce del río que es la vida. La palabra es una veta de tinta negra que viene de las profundidades oscuras de la tierra, a la que vuelve para invernar bajo la nieve, cada vez más escasa, y renacer después cargada de silencios, de sentidos que nos tocará ir deshojando, aclarando, refutando, actualizando. Las palabras llevan un sol en su vientre, que un día nos alumbrará con luz incandescente. And now the translation. So the word, bury it and give it time to bloom. Hopefully, one day it will bear fruit. The word is seed, semen, grain, loaded with hope, with a promising future. The word is a mirror in which we look at each other stripped of clothing. The word is bodies in motion, energy that overflows the river bend that is life. The word is a streak of black ink that comes from the dark deeps of the earth, the one that returns to the earth during the winter, under the snow, increasingly scarce, and then be reborn full of silence and senses, that we will have to go plucking leaves, clarifying, refuting, updating. The words carry a sun in their belly, that one day it will illuminate us with incandescent light. The second poem is titled Una llovizna. Es noche ya y cae una fina llovizna. El amado se acerca a la casa de su amada. Lo hace con pasos ligeros como lo haría un cervatillo. El amado todavía con el impermeable puesto, murmura con el pensamiento. Levántate, amada mía, y ven a abrirme la puerta. Inmediatamente después oímos el ruido leve de una falda que se abre al compás de unos pasos rápidos y firmes. Y luego asistimos al ruido ansioso de una puerta que se abre para dejar pasar al amado. Y un murmullo de besos inunda la quietud de la noche. Después, solo después, crece el rumoroso silencio de dos almas en un mar a la deriva. And the translation is more or less like this: a drizzle. It's night, it is night now, and a fine drizzle is falling. The beloved approaches his beloved's house. He does it with light steps, like a young staff would. The beloved still covers with his raincoat. He murmurs in thoughts, "Get up, my beloved, and come open the door for me." Immediately after, we hear the faint noise of a skirt that opens to the rhythm of a few steps, fast and firm. And then we witness the anxious noise of a door that opens to let the loved one pass through. And a murmur of kisses fills the stillness of the night. After, and only after, the murmuring silence of two souls in a sea grows adrift. And the final poem is Me llamo Teresa. Hola, buenas tardes a todas. Me llamo Teresa, y aunque los tiempos hayan cambiado un poco, debo decirles a las jóvenes mujeres que todavía es difícil ser mujer. El mundo sigue siendo machista. Los hombres siguen siendo en su mayoría misóginos y son quienes dominan el mundo. La mayoría de los políticos son hombres, aunque nosotras seamos más de la mitad de la población. Los salarios son diferentes para hombres y mujeres. La mayoría de empresarios son hombres. Los hombres deportistas ganan más que las mujeres. Los actores más que las actrices. Se nos sigue considerando inferiores. El sexo débil, afirman, hecha solo para parir y darles hijos a los maridos. Lo que es más grave aún, se sigue matando a las mujeres solo por ser mujeres. Es posible, mujer, que esto escuchas en tu época y en el lugar donde te encuentres, que las cosas no hayan cambiado tanto como debieran, aunque debo decirte que todo cambio dependerá de nosotras, de nuestra organización y nuestras luchas. And the translation goes more or less like this. My name is Teresa. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Teresa. And though times have changed a little, I must tell you, the young woman, that it is still difficult to be a woman. The world is still a macho place. Men are still, for the most part, misogynist, and they are the ones who rule the world. Most politicians are men, although we are more than half of the population. Salaries are different for men and women. Most entrepreneurs are men. Athlete men earn more than women. Actors earn more than actresses. We are still considered inferior, the fairest sex claim. Made only to give birth and give children to husbands. What is even more serious, women continue being killed just for being women. It is very possible that when you hear this, in your time and in the place where you are, things haven't changed as much as they should, although I must tell you that all change will depend on us, on our organizations and our fights. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you, Wakas, for the invitation.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate your participation.
My pleasure.
It's wonderful to see you and again hear your poetry both in its original Spanish language and in the translation. Thank you so much. We move on now to our next poet and participant. He's the proud author of Images, Finally Focus, a compilation of poetry, essays, and short stories. This is young Hughley, a very dear friend. He's from Atlanta, Georgia. He attended Morehouse College, where he earned his BA. He's also holder of 3 executive certificates from the Kennedy School of Government in Harvard University, community building, not-for-profit management, and measurements for success. He supports social causes by doing part-time consulting and volunteer work. His encore career is writing. He has several projects underway, a series of poetry on gentrification and mystic, realistic short stories of African Americans transition from slavery to free people. A very warm welcome to you, Young.
My first piece is 9 short life poems. 1. Excuse me. An innocent touch arouses, simple smiles ignite a glow. Scent of familiar bodies and houses, forming humans. Palms and hugs wrapped in blissful kisses. Infancy starts, journey, Alpha to Omega. 2. Creators on blank canvases, confident or unsteady, self-taught artisans, garnishes with brushes, sensitive palettes, construct life voyagers. 3. Forces of beauty awakens the heart, astonished by encounters that burst like floras out of dormant earth, feminine brilliance, brawn elite, curiosities of wonder. What creatures these mortals be, life essence igniting, sparks fly. 4. His and her stories, egos, hope, and passion framed, creating tales of optimists, pessimists, glory seekers, witness bearers to others, wiser, stronger, broken, all repositories, self-sculptors. 5. An invincible thrust of force, brilliantly colored variegated twirls, adorning broad-leaf moments of trust, dangling strong, while winds, rain, sun, and pestilence beat at its glow, shielded by sensations of hope, rooted in understanding that have no apparent ends with constant beginnings. 6. Bellies bloat, breast slopes, shape changers. Tenderness needed to sustain, bejeweled expectations managing shadows of anger, eternities wrapped in words fortified with embraces for days that will get better. 7. Gratitude glows with each breath, trailing the moon and sun, seasons after seasons, death anchoring impermanence, hours, minutes of lifetimes, irreplaceable years, hinged with tears and laughter, hallowed. 8. Winter winds wrapping wisdom in memories dressed ornate in sorrows and joys. The sage finds center, grasp each day with no regrets. Forgiveness a gift to fools. Wise one choose carpe diem. The body speaks. Bones, organs, muscle, mind compete. 9. Presence and past bound round, absent vigor, consigned to urns and rituals, chambers in the ground, reminiscences of places in the heart, with tears of elation shaped by grief and hope of resurrection. The next one is the name that connects us. His mother gave him away to a childless couple, my father said. They gave him initials for a name, YT. He was called that until the time of the Second World War. To enlist, a real name was necessary. He and a girlfriend, not his birth mother, nor adopted mom, chose young Thomas. I am the eldest of his union with my mother. He gave that name to me. After my birth, Mama took me home. to her parents' house, a fact never explained. It was her father, not mine, exclaiming, "Here comes another popsicle," that name sticking like gum to a shoe. They never called me young Thomas. My father remained YT, or Wire, a sweet incantation used by my mother. White men who employed him called him Tom. He despised that, but endured it to feed a family. Slim for Texas, his friends joyously expressed, based on his physique, manly and tall, a regal slimness, not skinny. His aura cast in the shadow at high noon like celluloid heroes. I was popsicle till 13. Pimples, puberty, sexuality in high school connected me to young Thomas. Popsicle had to die. Father's name became my shield. We were adversaries during those years. I was not the male child he'd expected, neither the ideal guardian of the legacy of his name. Not liking me, he loved me, sheltered me, based on what he understood of nurturing. He was not the provider I dreamt. Life dwelling in me now, at the age of his death, makes me wonder how he felt, being a man of color called Tom, a mother who gave him away, an absent father, the woman called Big Mama accepting him as hers, a fluttering leaf in and out of his life, the man who fostered him, all strangers in mine, his and my inheritance, YT, young Thomas, the name that connects us, chosen by him for us to fight our wars.
Thank you so much, Jan. That is just wonderful. That's wonderful to hear, and I appreciate your participation hugely. Thank you. So as I said, no dearth of Agnes Scott, brilliant Agnes Scott alums, and we have another brilliant Agnes Scott alum as our next poet in person. I know she's not on Zoom. She's right here. She's at the back. Leela Marijam is an Agnes Scott and UGA graduate, currently teaching literature at Oglethorpe University. She was born and raised in Croatia, but her diverse family background has afforded her the opportunity to intimately explore the intersections of culture and religion with lived human experience. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Wakas. It's always a pleasure to be here. So I have two poems today. The first is titled Encumbered. Grain by grain, driven by instinct and dumb doggedness, I hoard small wins, spin memories of wonder. An endless string of mornings where you knew without bothering to know that if you loosened your jaw, a fish would inevitably slide down your gullet. Or it might not be the kind of golden fishy a girl can wish on, but it kept you nice and full just the same. I stacked and stacked as each effort burst and receded, leaving phantom outlines of towering proportions, one after the other, an endless parade. I've sealed your birthright. There isn't a universe in which this isn't true. Not for you. You cannot imagine into being the bare expanses you've never seen. Yes, it took a million specks of dust to build this dwelling. Look at the walls I raised. They're marvelous. Look at the cupolas and the bell tower. It calls for a song. I have one, thank you. This other one is encumbered too. I'm just reflecting. I've spent the last 10 years like raising my kid, and my parents are getting older, and it's just like, who are we? So I really feel grateful to come after you, because that was a beautiful homage to your father. Godlike you loom in the background. I sidestep from under your shadow, but trace the green around my irises with care. What is the path to power? How to shed the flagellated skin you let people feed off. How to reemerge shiny and new, ready again for the taking. Where does it come from? The faith, the certainty, the humor. You let me walk out alone and relish. The crumbs appeared as I faltered, the safety net always there, safely out of reach. Godlike you sprang from elsewhere long ago, your footsteps echo another's journey. Over and again we go, until we part, only to come together on the other side of now.
Thank you so very much, Leela. It was great to have you and hear those wonderful poems from you.